Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to the studio again for another episode of the Paint Party live stream. I'm so glad to have you back here in the studio with me this week. We've been on and off over the last few weeks just because my schedule's been busy, but it's great to be back with you in the studio again. This is my Learn to Paint journey. Most every week I meet you here Monday evenings and we work on a painting. In January of this year, I started learning oil paints, and I have been painting in acrylic and have transferred over to oils. So that is where we are in the process over the last several months. But so glad to have you in the studio with me this evening again. We are on a variety of platforms, so you can participate in the live stream on the platform wherever you're watching through the comments. Feel free to make comments throughout the evening to ask questions. I really enjoy engaging with you on the live stream as I paint, so don't hesitate to chime in as you like. This is kind of open house, so pop in, stay as long as you'd like, pop out, but we usually go about 1.5 to 2 hours in the painting most live streams. So glad to have you this evening. It is starting to become really beautiful here in the mountains. We are getting spring finally. I'm starting to see leaves budding on the trees. It's kind of crazy to think we're into June and we're just starting to see the buds on the trees, but we're getting leaves. I think we're out of freeze territory. In the evenings it gets cooler, but I think we're well above freezing now, and so we should be good for the rest of the summer. I'm finally able to open all my windows and my doors probably through September, so that's the time of year I always enjoy the most. So let's jump right in. Glad to have you. As more and more people start popping in, we'll just let them join us, but I will get this camera set up over the canvas here on my easel so that you can see what I am painting, and we will get started. All right, in the meantime I am going to pop over to this camera and I am going to set up my reference. This is an image that I took on a recent hike here just outside of town. There is a series of trails, a system of trails that goes right through the Black Hills. I think 100 miles or maybe 150 miles, but I hike that trail often, and it's called the Michelson Trail, and there's a variety of creeks and things that pass through, and this is one of the like little hidden areas off the trail, and I just loved the way the light was shining off the water, and it was kind of this hidden little oasis in the creek. So that's what we'll be working on this evening. Hi there, Mom and Dad, so glad to have you. Let me turn on also my palette. When I started the live stream this evening, I was working on clearing my clearing the palette up. So I will continue to do that, or I need to do that. Let's see if we can. Oh, there it is. We shall see. Okay. There we go. I think we're pretty good. This camera I have to get right up on the palette in order for it to work. So welcome to those of you who are just joining us. You'll see here I am still working on my cleaning my palette. I have been working on I purchased a course on portrait painting. I don't necessarily want to do portraits, but I want to know, oh, I'm right in my face, sorry. I want to know how to do them, so I have been working on that behind the scenes. You can see a couple of exercises I've been working on, but I've been doing a lot of monochromatic work. There we go. And so that's what all this white and kind of dark colors here, but we will do paint in color this evening. Let's see, but I haven't painted for several days because life's just been crazy like that. So I have a feeling my white might be good. I have a feeling that my paints will be really dry. So yeah, I think those are definitely my burnt umber is going to be dry. So I'm going to have to scrape all that dry paint out of there and put more fresh paint on the palette. I have really, over the last week or couple of weeks, I have kind of been painting with a much more simplified palette for most of the painting I'm doing. Tonight we may expand on that, but I've been using my umber, or my burnt umber, which is the brown, and then I've been using the ultramarine blue, which is that dark blue there. You can't really see, I don't think, and then I've been using a little red and a yellow along with white. But then I get all kind of my main primary colors. I have a magenta, yellow, and blue. I really should look for a good cyan color, but I do mostly landscapes, so those colors actually work really well for landscapes. I don't typically need to mix much more. Yeah, I think we could still use that white. White dries pretty slow. It's still pretty pliable and wet, so that's good. I may pull out some sap green just to make life easier on myself tonight, but normally I just mix with blue and yellow, but I do have the green, so I might as well. Hey there, Abby. Love you too. I always love seeing your posts. Typically I come across them on Instagram. Just makes me wish I were closer to the Carolina coast. Seems like an enchanted space of the world. I'm so glad you found and built a wonderful home and life there. Need to get some clients there. It'd be nice to be able to visit. I definitely will. If I get out that direction, I will. Closest I've been recently, not recently, but in the last year, I was out in Raleigh a couple years ago for a wedding, but that's not particularly close. So if I can get an excuse to get out there, I definitely will. I don't need an excuse because I would love to see you again, but if I can figure out a way to make it work. I try to, when I get to travel for work, it's kind of nice if I can see if there are friends that live around where I am traveling, then I can kind of 2-for-1, take some personal time. But I won't be traveling, as far as I know, again until September. This is actually my slow time. The summer's my slow time for work. So I am traveling September to Miami. I have a friend who owns a gallery. She loves artists from all over. That's awesome. Is it local there? No pressure at all. Keep tuning in. I'm sure I will at some point get an opportunity. I have not visited the Carolina coast, and I would love to do that. I just have heard that area, the Outer Banks, is so breathtaking. And your shell walks are just, the pictures you take is so inspiring. It's so pretty out there. I should have done this ahead of time, and I had planned to, so I apologize. I know you all are here to see painting, not necessarily cleaning up, but if I don't do that, it is not a good thing. So we'll put some yellow out there. We'll see. We may do, like I said, may do some sap green. We'll see how that goes. But I need to, first of all, clear the rest of the palette, the residue that is left here. Oh, I should have scraped my palette earlier. Crazy. Usually this Windex picks up that. I think I have to let it sit for a minute. Kind of. I should do a blend of Dawn detergent and water, because Dawn detergent, of course, cuts the oil. The Windex it's good for some other things, but it's not quite. It's good if I clean my palette right away, but I let it dry, sort of. So, I don't know, we'll see. Let's see, I took the knife to this earlier, but maybe I can get, oh, that's coming up. Just gotta keep working it. I need a new blade. I need to put a new blade, but I'm not gonna stop to do that right now. We'll just work with what we got. I just want to make sure I don't get any paint crusties, I call them, but dried paint, little dried paint things in my new paint as I'm mixing. So that's why I'm being kind of fastidious with this. But all right, I think we're almost there. That's better than it was. We'll do a little more, one more swipe with the Windex just to make sure we can get everything that's loose off of there. Okay, I think we're good enough to get started. Then I'll just have to do a real solid scrape at some point. Okay, now let's look at, I'm going to switch you over here to my there we go. I think that's good. Oh, there we go. I think you can see kind of what the palette is and what I'm mixing. There we go. And I'm gonna bring my seat over here. Oop. I have all these wires going everywhere, but okay. This is a little curved, so the angle's a little funky, but it'll, I think, work. So what we need to do first is look at what we are going to mix. So I know I need kind of that really dark color. So I know I'm gonna need kind of basically my brown or my black, which is the blue and the brown. So we'll start there, and there's quite a bit of that in the painting, so we'll mix that first. We'll just put that there, and we can always mix more, but this will give us that starting. Okay, then we need kind of that, and I do think I need some, sorry, I'm reaching in front of you. I'm gonna bring my, wondering if I need a little, I think I'm gonna do just a little burnt sienna, because we need a little bit of kind of that reddish brown, but we don't need a whole lot because it's really powerful. I apologize for the bumping. Okay, now I think I want to do kind of a mid brown color. So I'm going to do some burnt umber and a little bit of burnt sienna, kind of give us that reddish brown mid-tone. It's definitely not the black, but it's still pretty dark. Then we need that same color with maybe a little yellow. Lighten it up a little bit. Let's see. We're just going to play with it and see. I think if I take the yellow. So what I learned is if you want to lighten a color, you take yellow, and you don't want to diffuse it, you put yellow into it. But if it's on, you want to cool it down and it's on the purple side of the color wheel, then you want to use white. So this is a light brown. Let me take a little more yellow because I really want to. And even though I've mixed colors for now a couple years, I still am learning a little bit about this way of mixing. So We shall see how it works. I think that's light. I may want to do a little bit, because this will give us that kind of greenish brown that's really, we can tone it up or down, but we want kind of in the middle. This will give us that greenish brown that's in the, basically we're seeing the reflection of the trees above, and then we're looking through to the bottom of the creek. So I think that will work. And then we want kind of our blue green. So we'll start over here, see if we can do like a bluish green. That's a cool green that would be kind of our shadow green. And this is just ultramarine blue and yellow, which gives us this really pretty kind of green. And then what we can do is, to diffuse that, we can add white as we need, but I also need a sap green, so I need a more, but I think this will do you know, for quite a while. But when we get up to the edge where it's more, where the sun is bright, that's where we want more of the, just very little blue. We want more of the yellow showing through. So this will help us kind of figure that out, because I'm not sure. I think that might work. Let's just see. Okay, so we kind of got a little bit. I think I need to do, whoops, need to do a lot more with the yellow. Mixing this up, okay. There we go. Now we have our fundamentals. Now we need to start drawing. So let's do that real quick, kind of get some things in place, and then we'll figure out. For my drawing, I'm just going to take a little burnt umber over here on the right hand side and a little odorless mineral spirits to dilute it, or to thin it, so it's very milky and I mean, not milky, but it's very watery, and that should help us draw in our design. So where's my, I've been using my can't remember what it's called, but basically my measurer. So I'm gonna, since I'm doing that, I'm gonna just, since it's here, just gonna measure kind of the point of the, so that's where the shadow comes in. Then top of the shadow is about right there. So kind of like that, and then this is right about there is where this is so much easier than measuring a person's face, because obviously faces, if the nose is off, it's really kind of bizarre. That's how far so I'm just kind of putting a few marks in. All right, we don't need a lot. Let's do, so this will go like, so what I'm trying to do here is just put in some kind of dark values to give me an idea of where my major shapes are going to be. Just kind of seeing if we can get this is all darkness up in here. And we can adjust this as we want. Okay, that starts to give us some shape. Now, this is going to be my dark paintbrush, and I need a light paintbrush. Let's say this will be my light one. Okay, put that right there. Now what we'll do is we'll just go in. I'm going to start with my darkest darks, and I'm going to start laying in my shadow. I think like my shadow I'm going to bring pretty much all the way up, even though you can see some of this in the reference photo. I think I'm going to recede most of this back into the shadow. So Wondering if I should actually should use I think I'm going to start kind of giving myself and I'm going to use the angle of the brush stroke to begin to suggest grass. And I didn't tone this canvas panel, which I really should have done. So that would help cover this a lot. I'm basically covering up white primed canvas, so I'm going to have to do a couple layers probably because it's showing through real dramatically. So that was not a smart life choice, but what I'm wanting to do is use this is an 8x10. I want to use this sketch as a potential I may do a larger version of this painting for my collection, and this is actually cropped, so I may do some. This brush is just no good. I'm gonna have to condition it. Maybe this brush will work better. We'll see. Oh yeah. But I was saying this is cropped, and I think I may do a version of this that is more horizontal. This is cropped to 8x10, but I may do a wider horizontal view of this because the actual image also extends over here into the light, and I wanted to explore just this kind of shadow area tonight, but it is very striking when it comes into the light. So I may do that, do a larger version, but I want to try out some of these on a smaller panel. I should have probably done this on a 7x9 instead of 8x10, but that's okay. We'll get this put in. Good thing is a lot of it is just shadow, so if I do this shadow right, I don't need to do much with the shadow. Hey there, Bob G. Thank you. Welcome back to you. I'm so glad to have you. It has been a few weeks since I got into the studio. I mean, I've been in the studio, but since of course, with the holiday and just other conflicts. but it's good to be with you all in the studio. I always enjoy this. I wish I had a studio I could open to the public and paint and chat with people, because I think I would really enjoy that. But don't quite have that opportunity now, or at the moment. Once I get all of this kind of in, then we'll step back and really look at like where we are and where we want, if we want to change any of the shadows. Then we'll start adding in the midtones, which are these brownish colors, and that should give us a real sense of Bob. I was telling them I have Abby was on earlier. I don't know if she's still here, but I like to, when I travel for work, see friends that may be in the area I'm traveling, and I hadn't got a chance to call or message you, but I got a message from our mutual client that they would like some training at their elite conference in September down in Miami. So I'll be chatting with you more about that, but I'll do half day, 2 days of half day training down there. So that will be, I think, September 10th and 11th. So it was really good to hear from them. I did take the picture. It is just outside town here at off the trail, the Michelson Trail, which is a large trail system through the hills here. There's a creek that goes right through there. I don't know if it's Rapid Creek or Whitetail Creek, or maybe, oh, it's can't be, I don't think Spearfish Creek, but anyway, it's under, like, just under some trees there in a quiet little spot, and it was breathtaking. So I thought I will see if I can make a painting of this, if it makes a good painting. Sometimes pictures are breathtaking as pictures, but they don't necessarily make the greatest paintings. So we shall see. I think I'm going to actually go down and pop over to, I've never been to Miami, but I don't really have friends there, but I think I'm going to pop over to Puerto Rico, because I haven't been back since 2002, and reconnect with cousins there. So if I can swing that, I may do that. That would be really meaningful. Oh, it's so warm, and I am gonna, if you all will bear with me, I'm gonna pop over here, and it's that time when I need my windows open and my fans on, and my window is not open, and it's warm up in this attic studio. Gets toasty for sure. Okay, I need to mix a little more of this black. So we'll put some more umber. And then do a little bit of that. And a little bit of blue. If we can, there's a little green in there, so that might mess things up, but we'll see. Guess it won't matter because there's green in the water, so it's not gonna affect it too dramatically, I don't think. I'm just, again, trying to cover the canvas panel, the space. Side trip to PR. Nice. Had a long conversation with my buddy in KC. Wants me to come up for a Yankee game sometime this summer. Might just do that. Oh, that would be great. Yeah, KC is, I mean, it's 6 hours, but it's straightforward. Drive straight out to Bennington, Rogers, and then straight up. That's a good, that would be a good little side jaunt, especially if you can get the Yankees close enough to see them. It'll be exciting. All right, I'm gonna start to this is all an experiment, but starting to get where I feel like I'm understanding oils a little more intuitively and a little more, I'm understanding how to work with the medium a little better. So what I'm trying to do here, of course, is get all these in these shadows, but I don't want to mix the shadows too much, or I mean I don't want to blend the colors too much, because then you get really some weird mixed which I kind of got on that mountain scene the last live stream I did. I got some real, it's good if you want a very muted kind of you don't want a very stark, but this is, I want that stark I want that stark contrast. So I think I'm gonna do this because I don't think I'm going to get as light up into this top part. And I may even take this lump of lighter highlights and move that further over. We'll see. May put it over here because I'd like to draw the eye up over here, put the real contrast. This real dark spot. It's very emphatic. Okay, let's see. Starting to get there, I think. Let me step back. Take our first little breather of the evening. Now what I'm looking at is, do I like the shapes of what's happening? And I think I do. So what I want to start, I think, is go to some of my midtones and put those in. So I'm going to, I think, take a little brush. Oh, I wonder what I did to these brushes. My goodness. I think I'm going to have to take them down and they're just like hard as can be. Don't think I conditioned them right. So I'm going to take a little dagger brush, and I think I'm going to take my mid-tone green here and start to just put in this green color. Again, doing my best not to mix it too much with or not to blend it too much into the black, but just to kind of give us some feel of the edges. Well, okay. Let's take, where else is Hey there. Good to see you as well. Hope you're doing all right. This is, let's see. The key with painting water is to do your basically your up and down side of the waves or the ripples. That's why we get what looks like different colors in the water, because part of it is looking at the reflection of what's above, or if we are like all these darker spots are a reflection of what's above, which is the shadow of the trees. When we see straight through what looks like the highlighted green, that is you're looking through the prism of the water to the bottom of the lake or river or whatever it is that you're. So if you think that way, then it makes, if you understand just a little bit of that, then it makes a whole lot of sense. Abby messaging him might be. Oh, are some comments not coming through on my end? Sorry if I'm ignoring your comment or your question. Please feel free to ask it again and see if my software is supposed to pull my comments from every channel, and it usually does, but some of them, sometimes I go back and look and they have not come through for some reason, or this is I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do up here, but I think I can do you can suggest a lot with very few brush strokes. If you are intentional and strategic. So I'm trying to bring all these really dark shadows up here, because then it will give a real nice band of dark, even though in the reference there's all these lighter colors and the sun kind of dappling through. I'd rather do the sun dappling down here and have this really strong line of contrast with the water. And that's like the role of the artist. Like, you take your reference photos, because what really struck me was the brightness, because this photo that you're looking at is with no filter at all. Like, it's not not filter, but it's not oversaturated. Like, this was exactly how it appeared, that bright green. And so and the light was what really captured me. So that's really what I want to capture in the painting as well, is that feeling. Really, it was this feeling of intense serenity there that was really powerful. So and I think I am gonna bring this lighter grass over here as opposed to here. So I'm basically flipping the top of the paint of the reference to give us a little more of this bluish green over here, and then the yellow green over there. I think that will work really nicely. So I'm diffusing this with a little white, because I want this more on the cooler side over here, and I don't want it to stand out too much. If that makes sense. And so I'm using this almost like it's a mid-tone. You're getting a lot of glare up there, so I apologize, but I'll try to shape some of this. Again. Okay. And again, 1. There. Now we get a little bit of texture, a little bit of three-dimensional feeling of this. Now, I think what I want to do, step back just a second, take another look. I think I'm going to take a same green brush, clean out the green because it won't matter if it mixes a little bit. I'm going to take this mid-tone because now I'm not sure if this is the right color, but we'll take it down in here. Yeah, I think it's going to work. We start to, this might be, it might be a little too red, so we'll take a little blue and yellow and mix it to cut the red a little bit. Okay. That's why you shouldn't mix with your brush. Okay, now let's see if we can take some of this into these shadow areas, and we'll bring some of that deep brown kind of red tone in. The beauty of this will be in the the lighter browns that come in on beside it. So then we'll see, can we take a little bit of this and mix this? A middle kind of. One thing that I'll probably always be working on forever is nuance. You want this nuance of the value shift want a little green, kind of this greenish color. So you mix that. Because you want a lot of interest, but you don't want to cause a lot of distraction. So you can't get the values too extreme down here, but you do want them to taking a little burnt sienna, because that is a very, that gives us that reddish tone. There. Okay, now I want to take some of this yellow here, create this really warm, kind of nutty color. I want to bring that over. just lose our edges right in there. This green. See if that works. We'll see. I haven't drilled the dowels yet, so I'm not using it at the moment. That's the next thing. Next time I go out, I'll get some dowels and try to do that. This I'm not sure about my technique, but I'm just kind of playing with it now, so we'll see if it works. Yeah, that lightens the values up dramatically, doesn't it? Now, I don't want to get too... Time always passes so quickly. No, it's actually just under some trees. This is all sunlight shining through the trees on the onto the onto the pond or the creek. So yeah, it is not artificial, and it is not at night. It is all during the day. But that's what I think is so cool about it, that it has all this interesting light happening and all these colors that you don't really see unless you stop to look. I'm really deviating now from the reference photo, so we'll see how it all turns out. I've lost my way a little bit. I'm just trying to get this canvas covered because it's taking forever, but I don't think it's unsalvageable at all. What I think I want to do is take a little this and a little this green, do like a bright green, start laying in the foundation for the highlights. I want some grass there. Okay. Now, see what happens when we cover up that. Once we cover up all that white, now all of a sudden it kind of works. Now, let's see. I'm going to step back and see what needs done. Okay. Okay, I feel it's pretty good blocked in. Now, let's see what we need to do to really, like, just give a few, not highlights, but details. First, though, I think we do this. I think we go back and we go to the beginning. And we mix a little of our darkest colors so that we can reestablish and kind of put a second layer realistically on this. Mix the black. Okay, now let's go put it back in here. Really get as dark as we can in these corner areas, because that is where our those big dark areas are really important. Keeping it really dark, because that's when it really pops. If we can do that successfully. There. I'm putting it on pretty thick just because it adds visual interest to the painting. If we can put it really dark, and you can see the brush strokes, then it makes it much more interesting. When you get up close and personal with the painting. There. Yeah, notice just putting in these darks again, how much brighter it looks in this little glen. Or whatever. Okay, we reestablished some of our darks. Now, thanks. I want to come in here, and I think I want to take some of this. Now, I want to come in here. I'm not sure exactly how to create that feeling that's on the picture of that sharp because you just keep going lighter and lighter. That's not the key. That's not the key because it just keeps getting diffused. But I think it is then doing a little bit of this. We'll see. I want to put some Notice how I'm trying to draw the eye up, whether it's effective or not, I don't know, but Now, I think I can also come in here and do some with this brown. Now, I'm going to take some white, some yellow. Oh, thanks, Bob. That is the goal over time, is to become better and better at just making it fall together. Figuring out what that takes and how you do it and how you create that illusion. So what I'm doing here is putting in this lighter area, but it still isn't popping. So what you do, I think, is take some of this then darker color, and you put it right up against there. I don't know if that's going to work, but we'll try it. Might be too much. Yeah, it's too much. We need to figure out a brown, maybe. Because that's kind of what it is in the reference photo. Now, that gives us a little more sparkle for our it's not quite the right what we have to do is come in with the browns and do This is such a cool experiment to work out all of these, some of these issues. It's really starting to work out. Some of these little details are suggestions of detail. All these colors and all these little adjustments lend to the illusion that this is a Oh, I have gone way over time, y'all, but I am really enjoying this one, so I apologize, but I kind of want to keep working on it. So I will probably call it a night and then work on this separately. Put in another session on this, because it's a lot of fun figuring all of this out. Alright, I'm going to quit dinking around with this because I think I've done as much as I can do. And I am like now just going over it and over it. So let me step back. It's looking good. It feels like it's just an underpainting, but it can probably use another, but it's still pretty. All right, I'll turn you here and hide that, hide that. Give me just a minute to set this back up. All right. Here we are. Let me see if I can hold this up with minimal glare. Oh, it's really bad. Not really. Can't really see. But that's what we got, and we'll keep working on that, I think, because it looks pretty, but I really should have toned the canvas panel because a lot of that white is showing through, but it was fun to work on this. I will be back next week. I'm going to be out of town this weekend, but we'll be back by Monday. So we will do the next episode Monday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Central. So look forward to seeing you then. Until then, I hope you have a great week and a good night. I'll see you next time, everybody.